Welcome to Urban Fantasy PH. We are creatives who live in an urban society and give readers wish fulfillment by way of our stories, which is fantasy but reflective of reality. Here, we get to talk to fellow creatives like writers, authors, artists, comic book creators, filmmakers, you name it. We create and share our art here in the Philippines as well as abroad. My name is CJ Edmunds, I'm your host, and here is today's episode. Fellow bookworms, book hoarders, book lovers, and creatives. Hello, hello, hello. This is episode 38 of the podcast. And like always, and during an ongoing season, our show is aired every Wednesday, both for Spotify as well as on my YouTube channel. You have the option to listen or to watch us. I leave that in your hands. And whether you're listening or watching, please click the subscribe button and ring the bell so you do not miss a single episode, and you obviously will be notified when a new one comes along, just like this episode right here. All right. Now, all of our past episodes are at the ready for you to return to or listen chronologically, just in case you are listening and joining us here for the very first time. Now, whether you want to admit it or not, any specific season has progressed to not just being, a season, but also a money-making venture. I'm sure you can name the ones that you enjoy most. These would be Christmas, Halloween, Thanksgiving if you live in the US, and especially in this month, Valentine's Day, where establishments like restaurants and hotels and florists will have their own respective gimmicks just to be in season. Now, is that a good thing? For business, probably yes. But for the season in general, especially for those who are lacking for the other person in their life to properly celebrate the season, next question, please. But our next guest, and the one we have today, regardless of the season, has certainly made his mark. He is a certified life skills and self-discovery coach and a certified Lean Six Sigma Yellow Belt. Wow. He is also a National Book Development Board registered author and writer who's earned a diploma in journalism from Alison. This is through a course certificate, Introduction to Philosophy, from the University of Edinburgh in Coursera, and as well as a certificate of completion from the World of Fire Institute for Creative Writing and Evangelization. Now, in 2022, during the Kyoto Literary Awards, he was adjudged as the best contributor in an anthology for a story called The Midnight CEO. This was also included in the anthology, The Billionaire Story, Volume 1. Another of his stories, called Love Underground, was also chosen to be part of the anthology in Tales of the City, or Tales in the City, third volume. Both of these anthologies were published by Kyoto. Now, his short stories, 9+1 and 7 Churches, were also included in the anthologies Silent Nights and Happily Ever Afters, yes, there's an S there, and Silver Bells and Nostalgic Lovers, both published by 8 Letters Bookstore and Publishing, respectively. He was also featured in the November 2022 issue of Literatura magazine. Recently, his short story, The End of Days, was published in a new anthology by 8 Letters. Hello! It's called Love Confessions. Now, not sure if he has anything to confess or fess up to today, but certainly we would love to hear from him. So let's say and good morning, as well as hello, to Mr. Charles Tomeldan. Hello, Charles. Good morning.
Good morning, KZ. How are you? Hello to all
I'm good.
viewers of the podcast. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. Glad to have you here on the show today.
I hope all is well with you.
Yep, everything is okay. And we may be speaking here for the first time on the show, but we actually met over the holidays in 2023 during the Indie Publishers Collab Christmas Party. This was held in Comuna in Makati. And I certainly had fun meeting fellow creatives like you and publishers. And I was wondering, being a certified life skills and self-discovery coach, was there anything that you discovered and took away from that experience of meeting fellow authors and fellow writers and creatives?
Well, it all started a few weeks or months after the first lockdown. So I came across this ad online, it was Facebook, about those who would like to be certified coaches. So it was offered by a community, a group.
Mm-hmm.
So I had the opportunity. We had the days of training. Then we also had to submit requirements, a wishboard, and then we had to interview uh, subjects or other requirements as well. So fortunately, I passed, and we had our graduation in November of same year 2010. So what I learned about being a certified life skills and discovery coach is that uh, you get uh, you get to coach others and motivate them. No,
Mm-hmm.
like, being a certified life skills and self discovery coach, it's not just about us or me talking. Uh, we let our subjects do the talking as well. We encourage them to find their answers to the questions. It's a kind of encouragement, not just us talking, but we let others or subjects express their feelings as well. We help them find solutions to their worries and problems.
Okay. Would you say that there is not much of a difference between, let's say, a self-discovery coach and a motivational coach? Would that be sort of like the same in a way, or would there still be some differences there?
Well, there are similarities like motivational coach motivate their subjects, their mentees, their students, while
Mm-hmm.
us, like
Mm-hmm.
skills and self-discovery coaches, we do motivating as well. So there are similarities. We encourage our subjects to deal with their problems, how to face their problems. Same with motivational coaches, to motivate their subjects to face their problems. That's
How do people contact you with regards to, let's say, I since you are a coach, I need you to teach me to cope with, maybe, let's say, I'm in a rut. I know I'm a creative, but I don't think I can do this professionally. Do they go to a specific website and, I don't know, and then choose you as a coach? How does that work?
well, they can send me a message directly, private
Mm-hmm.
message. My name on Facebook is Charles Tomeldan. It's the same. So
It's the same,
I
yeah.
do Instagram and X accounts, but I seldom log on to those accounts. So it's okay if someone, oh, they would like to reach out to me via
Mm-hmm.
just search for me on Facebook, Charles Tomeldan, and then click on the message button.
Okay. What is it about? I know that you said that you saw this, like, during the lockdown and all that, and it sort of appealed to you. But what is it about a coach that you feel appealed to you and drew you in to become one?
Um, Having a title of coach sticks like second skin. So
Okay.
yes, it brings you confidence knowing that people would call you coach and not just coach. You're a certified coach. So uh, it brings prestige, not just prestige. You get to help other people, knowing that you have the training and
Mm-hmm.
the knowledge. So
Okay. All right. I get it. If you are a coach, let's say, I mean, you do have the certificate and all that. Is there some sort of, I don't know, renewal process every year, or once you're accredited to becoming a coach, you are a coach for life?
well, it helps if uh, on occasion we uh, upgrade and refresh our knowledge
Mm-hmm.
by
Mm-hmm.
going back to to the models and refreshing. I mean, getting a refresher because I
A
think
refresher course. Okay.
modules are those modules are being updated by the part concerned. I think it's the information department. So I think they update the modules now and then, so it pays to uh, take um, study those modules again if
Okay.
they are updated by.
Right. And things do change year in, year out. So I guess, regardless of whatever field you're in, you also need to, read up on what's new. I mean, like 5 years ago, no one was talking much about AI, and now AI is everywhere. So unless you really want to be left in the dark, you also need to do some reading yourself, and and inform yourself as well on what is going on. But I do have a two-part question for you. We're still on the subject of coaching, and I was wondering what has changed for you when you became a coach. Has it made you more empathetic or creative, or has it given you a little bit of insight in and not second guessing ideas when they come to you? And the part two would be, do you think being a coach may perhaps have helped you becoming a better writer?
Um, well, first and foremost, being a coach somehow, it it uh, reminds me often to live the life to practice clean living,
Mm-hmm.
because as a coach, people would look up to me. So being a coach somehow entails responsibility, responsible living, clean living. So I need to check how I live my life. And you're right. I became more sympathetic. More sympathetic. I practice more empathy with other people's feelings, so I don't take those feelings for granted. Uh, like before, even the smallest things, when friends come to me and ask for advice. Uh, Before, I just shoo them away or ignore them, but now I pay, pay attention,
Mm-hmm.
helping hand, listen. I'm I'm all ears whenever they ask for advices.
Cool. Um, and let's say it's nice that you said that it has made you become more empathetic. It has helped you become more open to things, and has it also made you become more open to ideas that will just pop in your head whenever you're in that mode of, I don't know what to write, I have no ideas. I don't want to run out of ideas. I'd rather have some than none at all, or stuff like that.
Oh, well, actually, there's a circle. Some coaches call it the core zone. Outside the circle lie writing and work.
Mm-hmm.
So when writing and work blends together, they come together in the circle. That's the core zone. Get
Core
to do
zone.
what you
Okay.
have to do. At the same time, get to earn uh, enough doing what you love to do. It's the core zone. So working, it's when working and doing what you love, doing what I love, just writing,
Mm-hmm.
come together. So that's the core zone. Uh, get a kick out of writing, doing what I love to do, and earning at the same time. Get to pay the bills, doing what I love to.
I love that core zone. That's a new term for me to apply and use. And I sort of like have a similar question later on about that. But
It's different from the from the comfort zone circle.
mhm.
Comfort zone encompasses just doing what you love to do, but you've got to step out of your comfort zone and step into the core zone. Take a leap of faith, do what you love to do, and find the work that would fit you. So,
Mhm. I guess in anything there really has to be that sort of leap of faith, wherein you trust your initial judgment, your gut feeling that this particular venture is going to go well, because not only is it new, it's something that you feel passionate about, something you feel strongly for. So I guess in any form of idea, when you sit down to write, it will be, in a way, there's a little bit of gut feeling that goes into it, a little bit of faith that the story that you start off with just maybe a line or a paragraph will grow, and 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 become into, either a short story or novella or a full-fledged novel. Now, as if being a coach was not enough, you also have another certification, but this time it is from the University of Edinburgh and the other one from the World of Fire Institute. So, can you tell us more about those two other certificates?
It's started again during the pandemic when
Mm-hmm.
Coursera offered some of their courses for free. So I, being a sucker for opportunities, grabbed the chance to study for free in a prestigious platform, which is Coursera, in collaboration with the University of Edinburgh,
Mm-hmm.
the UK. So I took the chance to study Introduction to Philosophy, philosophy for free, and I get to do research. The subject, the course covers research in contemporary philosophy,
Mm-hmm.
and I get to learn what is philosophy, characteristics of philosophy, and how it differs from other fields of uh, learning philosophy. And I have, by God's grace and through hard work, through hassle, I got to earn a certificate. Still aside, my 96.96%. It was really hard. There
Mm-hmm.
are quizzes to pass, and if you fail the first time, you get the chance to take another uh, uh, test for that module once or
Mm-hmm.
twice. When you failed third time, get to start from the. So it's a series of tests. It was hard, and I had to listen very carefully because the instructors who are British nationals,
Mm-hmm.
they spoke with a different accent.
Yes, they
So yeah,
do. They do. They do. And you really have to pay attention to that.
right. And okay,
It
with
it seems to me that there seems to be um, a love of knowledge that comes from all of this engagement that you do with the courses. Do you feel that you need to learn as much? Because I get I get this question from people that I hear about when they feel that, oh, I've took up this course in college. I have my college degree, but I feel like I want to study more, so I'll go for a master's. Now that I've gotten my master's degree, I feel that it's not enough. I feel like I have to know more, and I have to go in and do my PhD. So, is your going from one course to another? Do you feel like it stems from uh, that craving for knowledge?
yes, I believe that one never stops learning
Mm-hmm.
because life stops teaching. There are things that you never get to learn inside the confines of a university. So you've got to learn from the outside world, what others call the university of life.
True.
Life itself is a long process, so one never stops
Mm-hmm.
learning.
That's right. I agree with you. And these two courses are that you recently did after being a coach has to do with philosophy. Have you always liked philosophy?
Well, philosophy for me is an art.
Okay.
Uh, uh, Communicating with others, teaching life about general, learning about life in general.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And that's why I took another course in writing, creative writing and evangelization from the University of Gordon Fire Institute. It was
Yes.
founded by Bishop Baron. It's a Catholic online institute. So the course taught about information, living life in prayer, writing, evangelizing using
Mm-hmm.
creative writing. So life for me is an art. Uh, you get to be creative when it comes to uh, dating people, interacting with people, dealing with life. Uh, get to be creative, not just scientific. You got uh, to take an artistic side in life.
So have you seen those trade paperback books about philosophy and pop culture? Because I got some in my shelf, but I can't reach up and get them now. Like Star Wars and philosophy, Lord of the Rings and philosophy, Buffy the Vampire Slayer in philosophy, Doctor Strange, and even Green Lantern in philosophy. There's so many books about that. Have you ever tried reading some of them? Some of them are really great.
Well, when I go to bookstores, I usually go to shelves that display about coaching,
Uh huh.
about
Okay, I get it.
self, uh, subjects in self help. So that's it aligns with what I do.
Mm-hmm.
It
It does. It
echoes with
does.
what I do. It aligns with us. Kasi in the future, I plan to write about life coaching in general.
Oh, that
Not
would be
answers
great.
yes for life coach, but that would wait because at the moment I am writing three short stories and actually two of those. I have submitted two of those to publishing. So they get picked again and working on my I think for seventh short story. I'm about to finish uh, that tale. Just have to edit that story mode before I send it to the the publisher.
Hmm. We wish you luck. We wish you luck in your submission, and hope to get accepted. But still, in the subject of philosophy, do you have maybe favorite philosophical quote or maxim that you live by? Because for me, my dad would he used to say, "Less talk, less mistake." I didn't think much of it growing up, but as the years went on, I think he may have stumbled onto something, and I'm glad that he shared that with me. And I sort of like remind myself whenever I feel like I'm on the point of divulging a little too much. So, how about you?
Well, I'm a fan of Friedrich Nietzsche. I don't know how to pronounce his name. He's a renowned philosopher, I think. He writes about psychiatry, psychology.
Mm-hmm.
So his writing somehow prevents me when it comes to dealing with life and with other people. Uh, Friedrich, Friedrich Nietzsche,
Any
an
any
in philosophy and psychology.
mhm. Any particular line that he's written that sort of like you get reminded most of the time by?
Well, there are a lot. I forgot which. Although, let me think of a quote from uh, another person.
Some creatives would have a vision board, and they would put that close to their workplace of work, maybe or hang it on the wall, so that whenever they wake up and they see it, and that's the first quote that they see, and it sort of like jump starts their day. Or for some people, they put that close to their writing table, um, and that will define their work process or their work habits. Yeah.
Well, actually, I do have one. I
A vision
don't have
board.
a
Oh,
board, but I've stashed it somewhere. I think it's
ah,
one of the tables in the sala. So one of these
okay.
days, I'll hold it pull it out again,
Yeah.
see the video because
Um,
it's effective. It's like uh, envisioning what you love to gain in the future. Somehow, you practice the law of attraction. What
mhm,
you see, track, what you
exactly.
think of, it comes true. with persistent envisioning your
Yes,
dreams.
I agree. I agree. The law of attraction certainly helps. And if you guys don't know much about law of attraction, I suggest that you read The Secret by Rhonda Byrne. Not only read the book, but also watch the video, and that will clue you in on what exactly the law of attraction is. All right,
I
and
read
mhm.
that book and I've watched the short movie as well.
Yeah,
The book
I
and
love the book and the movie. It's a companion
so
piece. It's hard not to. I mean, you can watch the movie first and then read the book after, or you can watch the film and have the audio of the film sort of like in the background while you read the book, and that also sort of like helps. Were Are any members of your family avid readers?
um well, I guess not because my mother and my mother is a licensed pharmacist while my
Mm,
siblings, three of them are all registered nurses. Well, my dad took course in arts, he had a degree, Bachelor of Arts, but he yet to practice that profession. Um, entered the service. He was a former. He entered the Navy, so he was a former Navy man. So, in the family, I am the only one to a different path of
hmm
this writing, and
And
I'm
that's
proud.
okay,
And
and that's okay.
my family is uh, proud of me being in my.
I'm glad that yeah, that they've accepted the path that you are on, and uh, you are coloring the path as you see fit, and passing each and every course in flying colors,
Yeah.
and that's great.
Which
Uh,
brings to mind, a quote. I quote from Hans, I think it's Hans Christian Andersen. It's about writing. Uh, Once fairy tale is written by God's fingers. I love that quote by Hans Christian Andersen.
oh, I love that. I love that. Yeah, that would be something to write on
And
and mount it on your table
it's like
so
a
that.
dedication. Whenever I write a dedication, I pick something from that quote by Hans.
Cool. Love it. Love it. I do stand by the fact that us writers, we begin as readers first. But I was wondering, can you still remember the time when you graduated from being a reader to becoming a writer? And would you still remember that first story that you wrote? And just in case, would you still have a copy?
Well, I started as a sports editor with this in tabloid.
Mm-hmm.
But I think I lost of uh, a copy of that newspaper. It's a decent newspaper.
Okay.
Now, as fate would have it, I got the chance to write for two IT lifestyle magazines. I was a contributing writer for uh, PC Shopper and PC Direct, two IT lifestyle magazines, and
Nice.
those magazines. I think it was in early last decade. I wrote features for those 1990s. Those magazines were placed in branches of National Bookstore and fully booked. So whenever the first latest issues of those magazines come out, I head over to a branch of National Bookstore or fully booked and see the latest issue of our magazine. I get a kick from seeing those magazines in shelves of uh, mm, prestigious popular bookstores. So that's how I started writing, and then one thing led to another. Uh, hmm, I wrote articles for supplementary magazines for children in both public and uh, private schools. I was a
Hmm.
editorial assistant writer for for those magazines, and then yun nga, either were calls for submission from other publishers. Then I submitted my entries, my pieces, and I think Lady Luck was smiling at me, and I sent emailed those entries. Uh, my short stories were chosen to be included in anthology. I think with Tetris Publishing, uh, three of my stories were included in three anthologies. Two were picked by Kyoto Publishing and included in the anthologies Millionaire Story Volume 1 and Tales in the City Volume 3.
Yeah.
Incidentally, my short story uh, in the anthology bit of story, one modesty aside, one for me, one for me, the best contributor in an award, best contributor in an anthology award at the 2002 Youth
Yeah, in 2022. And you know how fortuitous, that's actually my next question, that you were judged at.
I lost contact. Sorry.
That's all right. So yeah, that was actually my next question with regards to for the 2022 Yukioto Literary Awards. You were adjudged as the best contributor in an anthology for your story Midnight CEO, which was part of an anthology called Billionaire Story Volume 1. Did you ever find out what was the criteria that got you to being judged as best contributor? Like, ikaw bang pinakamaaga mag-submit kaya ka na ano? Were you the first to submit, or let's say where your entry was supposed to be, edited, you edit it as quickly as you can, and then in the first, within 24 hours send it back to them, ganun ba yun?
Well, I it took me a couple of weeks, perhaps more. Uh, when the call for submission by Kyoto Publishing came out, it took me a couple of weeks, perhaps more, to write and
Mm-hmm.
edit it because I'm one who take who value my work. So I'm this person when it comes to writing. So I normally often normally edit my stories not just once, twice, in some thrice. So I value my work, cherish my work, couple of three to far submitted to Kyoto Publishing. Now about the criteria, if I can remember, I think one of the criteria, uh, um, yung your story should stand out, should be unique, different from other stories, unique. Okay, so that's one of the criteria. Um, can't remember the other. And then dapat ano I think you should uh, give them info that would somehow make your story uh, winnable. Something
Okay.
about you that would
All
make you
right.
stand out, others, not just your story, but your experience.
uh I don't suppose anyone who is not published by Yuki Ito can enter to qualify for the awards, right? I mean, you have to be published by them to qualify, or can someone who is not published by Yuki Ito can submit? How is that? Would you know?
Well, manuscripts that are not submitted yet, I think those can be sent to Kyoto. But recently, Kyoto no, posted something on their social media pages about the gintong uh, parangal, gintong parangal sa pluma. I think everyone. Even everyone published writers or not, even outside, you go to publishing can submit their
Okay.
thesis.
All right. So they
But
can submit.
it's welcome as long as your story or your book uh, has an ISBN published yata.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Yes. And
It
we are
doesn't matter
lucky.
from other publishers. It doesn't
Uh huh.
matter.
Good. Good. Speaking of ISBNs, just want to a little side note. Um, we writers here in the Philippines are so lucky that our ISBN is free. We don't get to pay for it. But in some countries like the UK, you have to pay for an ISBN. And if you release your book in different formats, so if you release it not just on digital format, there's audiobook, there's print, and sometimes also in hardcover, you will have to have different ISBNs, and you will have to pay for each and every one of them. So we're so lucky that that it's for us here. It's for free. But
It,
going back
it
to,
our local publishers,
mhm,
when you submit their story to them, and then it gets published, they're the ones who get the ISBN for the anthology. So you don't
right,
have to
right,
go to National Library to get an ISBN. They
hmm,
do you will get the ISBN if you get published.
right, right. But these days, it's easy to get your own ISBN if you are, if you're self-published,
That's
because you can do this online. So it's
that's
uh, it's fairly it's fairly easy. You don't really have to personally go to the National Library. But if you live just right across the National Library, then why not just go right across and treat yourself to how things are being run over there. So, but a writer's life for me should not be really just based on awards and citations and recognitions. You write because you have ideas that you want to put down on paper. And you write these on paper because you want to share these ideas with the world. And it's also because you want to use your voice to speak up for those who could not, and you do that via your work. Now this then reminds me to ask, and you sort of like touched upon this earlier on, but I wanted to reserve the question later in the interview. Do you feel that there is a line that is drawn between work and art when it comes to literature and writing? I mean, when does it become art, and when does something that you create become work?
Well, if there would be a line that separates between work and writing, it would be a very thin line, especially for those who who would love to write at the same time who would like to earn a living writing. It's a very thin line. Some would do it just for writing, some would just to earn, just to pay the bills. But there are other people, the the all around, the well-rounded people who writes at the same time as doing what they love to do, is writing. It's a very thin line.
Hmm. Well, I guess bottom line is that if you are enjoying creating your art, then it does not feel like it's work, right? There's that saying that if you love your job, you don't feel like, it will never feel like work to you. So if you
That's
love
correct.
what you create,
It's a quote by Confucius. You love your
right,
work,
right.
you work.
Exactly. I suddenly remembered that when we met up, you mentioned that you were into photography. Do you still get to do that?
Well, if there are chances to take photos, I took because snap photos with my only using my mobile phone. I did take uh, short courses about photography in the future, so I know the basics, doing the angles,
Okay.
centering, focusing. So
Right.
whenever I
Right.
have the chance, I do photography, but I focus. I really focus. I I I don't have much time a massive book. I, on the other hand, I've been doing writing for years now, so I, I, yeah, I'd like to focus more on writing, but there's a chance, given the chance, I would like to do photography, but I think
Well,
not in the near future.
uh-huh. Okay. The reason I ask that is, do you think that when you try to capture the perfect moment, in your photographs, perfectly framed and centered, uh, do you think that also influences you in your writing, or maybe it's the other way around, that your writing helps you take better pictures?
I think it's the other way. Uh, when I write, it gives me the, the confidence and the inspiration to take photos.
Hmm.
I seldom take photos and write about them. Rather, I write and take photos, which echoes what.
Well, as long as I guess you have time to do both creative ventures, or as much as your time allows you to do it, then then do it. So let's get to your book and your story. That's entitled "End of Days." It's part of this book right here, that is released through Eight Letters. And hello, shout out to Cindy Wong of Eight Letters. Hello, Cindy. And without any spoilers, can you give us sort of like a summary of what your story is about?
Uh, that book came out late last year in time for the Christmas season. Well,
Hmm.
the story, this short story, uh, that anthology, let me think about a short story. At the end of days, it follows the story of two expats in the Philippines, uh, Aiden and Chloe.
Yes, Aiden and
Yeah,
Chloe.
Aiden and Chloe, um, who were living in the Philippines when World War II broke out, and then they lived through the horrors and hardships of war. In a nutshell, uh, they lived through uh, war, mingling with people, facing dangers, and in the end, their lives are put to the test. One that will test your will to live. So the rest of the story, readers should buy our book and get to know what happened in
Yeah.
the end.
So all of this is all part of because you submitted to Eight Letters, or they made a call for submission. That's why your story got to be included in it, right? Yeah. And you seem to be more comfortable writing short stories. So, what is it about the short story that you like?
You know, before I became a writer, a true blue writer, I attended webinars about writing, and in one of those webinars, the mentor said that
Mm-hmm.
writing a novel seems daunting, overwhelming. You should write a shorter piece, which is a short story. So I took her advice, and then I write stories. So those are stories are 300, 2,500 words and below. So that would fit my schedule because I work online, so I could insert right there. It doesn't overwhelm me, right? In short stories, uh, they say, di ba, sabi nga, dream big, write small. So I started small, short
Dream
stories.
big, write small. Okay, I like that.
But nasa ano yun eh, nasa pipeline ko, writing novels and when I have the time, I should find the time, right, for a novel. Because
Well, I
I'm
think you will. I think you will. I have no doubt that you will. But I don't know if anyone has asked or told you, but I feel that for Aiden and Chloe's story, there might be a longer version somewhere. It feels like this World War II novel, which is now a series or a mini series on Netflix. And I'm not sure if you've read it. It's called All the Light We Cannot See by Anthony Dewar, and it traces the life of a blind Spanish girl and a French serviceman, and that's their love story during World War II. And when I was reading your story, I felt that it was that it can be a sweeping love story, extended more into novel form, and who knows, you might just decide to do that, and if you do, I know that there will be a lot of readers out there, those who've already read it, who have fallen in love with Aiden and Chloe's love story, would want to know more. So count me in, isa ako dun, if in case you decide to expand this and make this into a full-fledged novel. And you're right, with regards to squeezing time in into writing novels, and that's sort of like ties into my other question, is how do you trace your productivity for the day? Some people will trace their productivity by word count for the day, and some people will do that by timing how long they are sitting and writing. So some people, just 1 hour a day of writing, I'm good. For some people, 500 words a day is the sweet spot. So where do you think you fall under those two, or do you fall somewhere in between?
Well, I'm actually pantser like Stephen King. I
That's
write
okay.
about books,
That's okay. Fancers
but
unite.
I chose to write in the uh, late nights because I'm a night owl. That's when I am productive. So, but I strive to write at least a, 1,000 words, 500, at least 500 words in a day.
That's
But
okay.
when I'm tired, I rest for a while. And
Hmm.
uh, well, there are days when I face writer's block. So whenever that hits me, whenever I face that block, I take a break, get out of the house, go to the park, take a stroll, uh, uh, take a take fresh air. It clutters my mind, and it's oxygen, and oxygen is needed by the body. Uh, it is needed for normal normal brain function. So there you go.
I can so relate with that when you have writer's block. I experienced a bit of that when I joined NaNoWriMo. And when I was just really running out of things to say in my story, I just went out. I just went out, did the grocery, took a walk, and took the time to, yes, proverbially stop and smell the flowers, and just change your surrounding. It does change your mindset, and so when you get back to the table to write, you feel refreshed. You feel like you have much renewed energy to tackle this scene that has blocked you uh, moments before. You said that you write better at night, that you're more of a pantser, but would you have any, let's say, rituals before you write? Like some people would brew a cup of coffee before they write. They cannot write pag walang kape. Or some people would light a candle, preferably triple wick soy candles, before they write. Do you do anything of that?
I have no particular habits for I write, but I do uh, read a good book before I start writing, a
Okay.
page or two, and then
Mm-hmm.
I drink of nothing but milk. But it's good
You're not a coffee drinker?
for milk. No, I was diagnosed with acid reflux, so
Oh,
uh,
okay.
acidic food. Stuff. I don't eat take acidic food. The acid rises through my throat. I feel chest pains. So
So
my doctor
even if it's
said
decaf, right?
even
Decaf
decaf.
di pwede.
My doc said, yeah, doc said still coffee. You can
Oh,
have it now.
okay. All right. Okay, okay. All right.
Anything
Uh,
but acidic food and
anything that
drinks.
has. All right. I get it. I get it. You mentioned that you're currently working on, or you worked on, and you submitted some stories, and you're waiting for it to be approved for publishing. Other than that, is there anything else that you're currently working on? And if you have it by your side, what would you be reading at the moment? Your current read?
Well, when I'm not writing, I open a book by I read a book by Zoe. I forgot the other author. Zoe. It's about I title is about Par- Paris Paris Prelude, Prague Prelude. I think. Uh,
Prague Prelude. Okay.
yeah, it's about uh, a violinist going through living through war. So stories about World War II fascinate me. That's why some of my stories in background, is World War II.
Mm-hmm.
That, kasi that period kasi we weren't born yet during that period. I'd like to explore that period in time when people went through trials, hardships, disciplines. That period, I think, is much more difficult than uh, pandemic period where we survived. I think no one can compare to it. That period, World War II, many lives are lost compared to pandemic. So I love reading war books, especially World War II and the Second World War. It
I
fascinates.
agree.
Those things.
A lot of people seem to have a I don't know if nostalgic feeling or nostalgia is the right word for World War II, but you don't get to hear people write stuff about World War One. It's usually World War II. I guess maybe it's more modern, and maybe because World War II was more, it encompasses a lot more in the sense that unlike World War One, it was just mostly Europe. This would involved, America as well as us here in Asia, and maybe that's why people write more and are drawn more to stories that are set in World War II. And for
Yeah.
those who love World War II and love stories as well, you need to read Love Confessions, and most specifically The End of Days by Charles Tomeldan. Where can they get copies of this book right here?
Well, they can grab copies of our anthology, Eight Letters website, eightlettersbooks.com.
Okay,
And it is also available, I think, on Lazada and Shop.
all
So,
right, perfect, perfect. We'll put that in the show notes. If in case they want to know more about you, your work, and if they want to get in touch with you as a because of your expertise as a coach, all they need to do is get in touch with you via Facebook, right?
yeah, via Facebook, send me a private messenger message by
Mm-hmm.
messenger. I don't get to log on to my Instagram and X accounts nowadays. I get too busy just surfing through Facebook and answering
Okay,
messages. Message.
all
I
right.
have,
But at
you
least
can you
you're still on Instagram and X. So I can still put the links there just in case people want to follow you and interact with you on those platforms, right?
sure.
Okay, awesome. That is a wrap for today. Thank you so much, Charles, for joining us in this episode. And we wish you all the best in your future writing endeavors. And as a coach, may you always be given the chance to impart your experience and your expertise as well as your wisdom to people who need it and other creatives out there. And if you are a creative and you would like to be featured on the podcast, simply email us at urbanfantasy at gmail, urbanfantasyph, that is, at gmail.com. Thank you to Spine Books and to Nerd Nibbles. You can follow them on Instagram as well, especially if you like mushroom flavored chips. I sure do. And if you'd like to get a copy of my own work, that's Sojourn and Take Me Now, just visit the Spine Book Shopee page. I'll put that in the show links. And you can follow the show as well, Facebook, Instagram, and Threads, and me over at cjedmunds.com. Till the next episode, guys, enjoy the rest of the week. And happy Valentine's. I will see you in the next one. Indie Creatives Unite. Keep writing and keep creating. Stay creative. Namaste. And blessed be.
Bye.
Thank you.
That was another episode of Urban Fantasy PH. Join us next time as we feature another creative soul who wants their art to be seen, heard, and shared. If you have your own work to share, just email us at urbanfantasyph at gmail.com. Till the next episode, this is independent author, singer-songwriter, radio personality, voice actor, and fellow creative, CJ Edmunds, reminding you to always listen to your heart, create with your mind, and share with your soul. Goodbye, everybody. Namaste. Blessed be.